friends, welcome back to the Messed Up Movies Podcast, the podcast celebrating movies and filmmakers that embrace the insane, the unhinged, the outrageous, the off-kilter, and the all-around kind of messed up fun you can't take your eyes off of. What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Griffey, here for the finale of our May New Life Rebirth curation. It's time to get heroic, Alex. It's time to save the world. One teenage sensibility joke at a time with The Toxic Avenger, 1984's Troma classic, The Toxic Avenger. Weirdly took the place because we rewatched What Dreams May Come and said, woof.
Nope.
And so we're like, that movie sucks balls. What should we replace it with? The Toxic Avenger. That was a choice.
What it was we watched What Dreams May Come, and I was like, oh, God, not right now. Jesus Christ. What dreams may come? This is all nightmares. Forget it.
Yeah,
No.
I was like, I had forgot that movie was essentially like the same kind of visuals as an Encarta ad. Encarta being the old online encyclopedia, if you remember.
For those of you who don't know.
Yeah, that's an old person thing. That movie sucks. It like hurt my heart. And also we're just like, I don't want to do pretentious namby-pamby like debating arts and philosophies. I want to talk about what do you do with a movie that came out the same year you were born that just has every kind of slur and inappropriateness in it.
I mean, everything is in this movie. It is.
It's kind of like this movie almost couldn't have aged worse, but I feel like it still maintained its Troma armor to where it's still just fun and enjoyable to me.
Isn't it kind of cool? Like an entire movie studio basically just has it's Troma. You're like, oh, okay, cool. I'll watch it. Sure, why not?
They kind of have the South Park defense without the South
really
Park
impressive
levels of production. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's a really impressive thing to have an entire, yeah, that's a good point. Like South Park has this. Oh, it's South Park. Yeah, okay, cool. Simpsons did it. The whole thing. This Troma has just this like invincibility factor of like, it is Troma, though. Like, you kind of know what you're paying for. You're like, oh, okay, cool. That's a good point.
And everyone kind of, it feels like most people I know who have been in the industry in some way, like, they all kind of love what Troma is and does. Yeah. They love Lloyd Kaufman. Like, they love that little engine that could, despite, like, some realities of the movies that, you know, sometimes are touch and go. Before we get all the way in here, make sure you go to the Messed Up Movies Podcast Patreon. Get our Patreon exclusives. Get our Black Mirror miniseries, our Tales from the Crypt miniseries. Many new miniseries on the way. Lots of fun stuff. We're working hard to make that valuable for you. Go do that. Misfit Parade YouTube. MisfitParade.com. Subscribe to our newsletter there. Keep track of our inappropriate childish humor movie, Mr. Cream Jeans, Hidey Hole. As soon as I said the title of our movie out loud, I was like, this whole episode is going to read as hypocrisy from me as I talk about Troma and the low brownness of it. As the guy who wrote Mr. Cream Jeans Hidey Hole.
I mean,
all right.
You said it, not me.
Let's. Hey, you are the key factor that's making this go. Just remember this, folks. When Mr. Cream Jeans comes out and all the bad stuff you read about it, Alex was the producer that really got this ball rolling downhill. We were stuck in a morass until Alex came in and cleared ways for this thing to roll downhill. All right, neither here nor there.
As it goes, production's blamed for most problems.
Keep it that way. Keep it that way.
Cheers to that.
1984's The Toxic Avenger. Mm-hmm. Tromaville has a monstrous new hero. The Toxic Avenger is born when meek mop boy Melvin falls into a vat of toxic waste. Now evildoers will have a lot to lose. Directors Michael Herz and Lloyd Kaufman. Mm-hmm. Stars Mitch Cohen as the Toxic Avenger.
Do you want to know one star that didn't make it into this movie?
Yes.
It was fired before productions even began.
Okay.
The original Bozo was Vincent D'Onofrio.
No shit.
Vincent D'Onofrio asked for a slight raise, and rather than talk him out of it, they fired him and replaced him with Gary Schneider.
I feel like there's a level of just like being a character that he inherently brings that would kind of implode this living cartoon world that we're in. Like Bozo doesn't act as much as Throb.
Throb's a good way to put it. Yeah,
Throbs, right? So let's start here.
Not only that, by the way, Full Metal
Jacket
came out in '87. Just
choices were made. Yeah, I was a huge Toxic Avenger fan.
Yes,
long before I ever saw the Toxic Avenger. In 1991, there was a cartoon that hit there. This was the
Toxic Crusaders.
Yes, this was the height of Saturday morning cartoon, right?
Yep.
Giant sugar cereal, getting up in my fucking character jammies before parents got up.
Yep.
This was one of the shows I would gravitate to, the Toxic Crusaders.
Toxic Crusaders, Swamp Thing, and then that one where Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, and Wayne Gretzky. All-Stars, yeah. Those were the three that I was like,
there were so many. The Pirates of Dark Water. Dude, it was like a never-ending buffet. I still forget them all the time and go back and watch like nostalgia videos.
Same.
But it was great. Somehow, I don't know when it played. I don't remember a moment of watching it. The Toxic Crusaders was a big thing. The other thing with these cartoons, right, in 91, you made the cartoon so that you could sell the action figure.
Sell the toys,
for me, when I had a Toxic Avenger action figure and a Swamp Thing action figure, I thought they were both mutated monsters. I didn't realize that one came from this kind of Frankenstein-like, very literature,
I had
Bernie Wrightson,
context.
Lynn Wein, like storytelling.
Right.
And that this was essentially if you captured like a teenage jokester's fart in a can, but somehow made it into art. That's what Toxic Avenger was.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, I actually liked Toxic Crusaders, the cartoon, a little more because it had this very self-referential and stupid comedy.
It was awesome.
Melvin always talked about how he was a nerd, how he wanted a girlfriend. Like, he was making fun of himself the whole show, right? He had to fight Dr. Kill-Em-All. Yeah. His mop was alive. I think the slime was called... I can't remember what the slime was called, but it had everything in the show was just labeled as like a very specific stupid thing, like gross him out or something. Anywho, I fucking loved the show.
There's the living oil slick was Paluto.
Yeah, it was just insane.
Come on. You got to give it up.
And Dr. Kill-Em-All was like an alien from another planet who's trying to play. Anyways, neither here nor there.
Blobby. You're thinking of Blobby. Blobby was the...
Yes, that was his like little fucking pet. He had like essentially a snotwad that was his friend. He had the hot girlfriend still. Neither here nor there. This is not the movie. We're talking about this. But it was one of those, I loved the Toxic Avenger. I loved my Toxie toys. I would do stories. To me, he was like Captain Planet. He was Swamp Thing. He was in that genre of monster hero.
Same.
I always loved the monster hero more than a Captain America, Spider-Man, whatever. Batman was like my in-between because he felt like a monster, right? Even though he's a man. When I was older, in middle school, right, you start going to the mall and you're like, I'm going to buy movies and shit. And like, that was my jam. I found the Toxic Avenger and I was like, oh my God, they made a movie out of my cartoon I loved. I watched the cartoon before I ever knew the Toxic Avenger was a thing. This was pre the internet. No one I knew in small town rural Indiana was watching the Toxic Avenger.
Right.
I found this. I had forgotten. Last night I was watching this with my wife and my children were kind of coming in and out. This movie goes for it so fucking hard.
Yeah, I mean...
There's even a trigger warning at the start of the movie. This movie shows extremely graphic violence. Having started at Toxic Crusaders with that Toxic to this...
Very different.
Holy shit.
The Toxic Avenger is basically like... Okay. I used to live in Studio City, which is like only a few miles down the road, but I used to live in my first apartment in LA, Studio City. I was walking down the street one day. I was like going back to our apartment, and just there was a videotape on the ground, just like a random videotape, and it was like an older VHS. It had just a plain white cover, and clearly it had been thrown away. The title on it was "Whoa, she's got a cock," and I'm like, huh, that's a fascinating title for a film. And
you're like, and to this day, I watch it every Wednesday at 4:12 p.m.
And that like, but like that vibe, like, oh, you find a movie on the street, a VHS, you're gonna pop it in, like those, like obviously I didn't because I didn't have a VHS player at the time, but that concept of just like sort of like, oh, it's off to the side, like that's what made me like, I honestly, the minute I turned on the Toxic Avenger, and again, it's been at least a decade since I've seen this movie, maybe more, but
I watched it with Joe Bob like a year or two ago. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So as soon as I turned this on though, I was just like, this feels like that vibe of like, oh yeah, that VHS I found on the side of the road. You're like, this is sort
Whoa,
of
she's got a cock.
Not a bad thing, by the way. Not like oh, this movie sucks or anything like that. It's just this.
The movie or the cock? The movie.
I mean, the movie is. Here's like, I think what it is. The movie. You know how we always talk. Like, we always talk about in the pod. What a choice. Quite the choice. This movie just makes all the choices. It doesn't even say, like, I'm not making that choice. It just makes all the choices. The whole movie.
When I found this, right, I was shocked that this was not the Toxie I remembered.
Sure,
What I thought, though, is I was like, oh, my God, this is, like, the mature, cool version. This was in my, like, Monty Python phase. Mm-hmm. This was when I was, like, starting to get really into SNL, and I was, like, really into, like, alternative comedy, I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought Toxic Avenger was the same as those. I was like, look at this. It's got like biting political satire because the mayor's the bad guy. The chief of police is a Nazi, right? It's all about pollution. It's making fun of everything, man. This is cool. I thought it was this kind of impressive, like outsider political statement. Right? But I was fucking 13 years old.
Sure.
I will say this now as a much older man. This like inverted like porno. This is essentially like Debbie Does like, Dallas Superman.
It's all the cutscenes from a porno sci-fi that no one ever wanted anyone to see. Like you just
it's a riff on Superman through the lens of like Debbie Does Dallas.
Yeah,
and yes, to a 13-year-old, this movie fucking slaps. Is hilarious. Yeah. Has a lot to say. Mm-hmm. There is a part of me that's like, man, imagine like a 25-year-old right now finding this movie for the first time. It's hard to imagine what would stick or be engaging to them. I do think there's a bit of, we just grew up with Toxie.
Yeah.
And then movie, I found it when I was at this teenage age that I thought it was, but like my kids watch it and they're like, dude, that was pretty awesome. They're fucking 10 and 7. And you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Isn't it wild though? Like in terms of like the context of us watching, because I same thing. Toxic Crusaders. Then I found Toxic Avenger. Isn't it wild that they made a cartoon out of this? Essentially, they made a cartoon.
It lets you know the frenzy they had for anything that could become a toy.
But not only that, market. I think the other thing too. Like now, I was just thinking about this. Like that paper that they wrote back in like the 50s about Batman and Robin, the seduction of the innocent,
the comics code bullshit.
Yeah. Wow. I mean,
you think they were right?
You think that was bad?
We should have kept the code.
The code. You missed the code. Like, wow. I mean,
this is how you know you're getting middle aged. Is that you watch the Toxic Avenger and you're like, I think we need more censorship. I think we need to take some things down a notch. I feel it.
It is just one of those things where, again, it just makes all the choices. I had completely forgotten how this movie begins. And like, why...
with the 80s cocaine gym?
Well, like the 80s, like, okay, so the gym is like, the gym's called Tromaville, like, gym. I'm like, just call it cigarettes. Like, I don't understand why we're like splitting hairs here. Like,
dude, I was so envious of the guys that were just doing crunches and passing the cig.
Yeah.
I was like, God, dude, you know how cool you must look when you just fucking are repping 225 for sets. Then you sit up and you just fucking rip a heater. I mean, that's probably why people were probably slipping over all of the fucking ejaculate everywhere. Because they're like, God, we're all so cool.
It was. Okay.
But that's the thing, because we walk in and there's like clearly two gay characters that are there in Speedos for jokes.
Right.
There's a fat lady who can't stop eating. Mm-hmm. Right? She's in sweatpants just bumping into people in the fucking Zumba room.
Yep.
We've got a Jerry Springer-esque clip of a gargantuan, morbidly obese sweat ball of a man who has a sandwich which is about the same height. A sandwich, I'm guessing, is 5 feet 4 inches of sandwich. He's just getting massaged on his massive body while he's sitting next to his sandwich. There's people just like banging in the back. People are doing toots. I was like, what is happening right now? And that's the thing. That's the thing. This starts off as this like 80s era. Like at one point we're in the toxic dump and Reagan's books in the dump. You're like, oh yeah.
It's just
what it is.
all
the aesthetic of that opening series of shots, which is like, here's all the wild energy of people in a gym doing drugs, trying to have sex with each other. And Melvin going, like that face, like he's always being, it's like he has one of those remote controlled butt plugs in that you see YouTubers do, and they press the button.
Him and Bozo should have been friends based on facial symmetry. Like they had the same thing going on.
Yeah, they could have been cousins, dude. They bought the buy one, get one half off, the BOGO butt plugs, right? Where it is, like that's Melvin. That's what I'm saying. There's no acting in this movie. It is saying lines through fucking clenched neck and jaw. And that's the thing. That's how we start the movie. It never
lets off the gas. Never
changes that montage energy for the entire fucking film.
Yeah, I was like, well, okay, now we have to actually get into the story. Like, well, hang on. Let's take a quick sojourn to point out how terrible these gym rats are. That they literally like go out and
we could have just done a hot people don't like nerds.
Yeah.
And in some kind of weird primordial societal thing, when buff guys see nerds, they just beat them up. But instead, they add the wildest shit that is in this movie.
It's
for sure.
So they drive him and his buddy Slug and his girlfriends drive around.
By the way,
at night.
The names of these bad guys, we've got Bozo, Slug, Cigar Face, Nipple, Knuckle.
Cigar Face.
Classic.
So those two and their girlfriends have assigned a point system to hitting people with their cars based on
vehicular murder,
ethnicity.
Because just in case the murdering people with your car wasn't enough, they get in all the racial slurs right away.
Just immediately popping them in.
Yeah, whatever saves the cat this is like the opposite. Like, toss the cat in the volcano. Like it's
not only do you murder the cat, but bring it back to life through Pet Cemetery and then throw it in the volcano. Like the whole thing, it's like fucking wild. And then let's see, we put a dead kid on the scoreboard immediately.
But not only that, let's pause here for a sec. They hit kids, right? There's beer cans all under the pedals. They hit that kid. My wife literally went, oh! Because this kid, they hit him, he rolls over the car.
Explodes.
He's laying on the ground, crawling, still partially alive. Shocking amounts of blood on the street. Like, just an image, you're like, so this movie, which is a Superman riff with a sense of humor aimed directly at a child, right? Like, this is a movie preteens found. Mm-hmm. They run this kid over. He's crawling, like clinging to the last vestiges of life. So maybe he can get saved. And then blood on the fucking street reflecting the lights, right? It's kind of a against all odds beautiful image of horror and tragedy. And Bozo's like, no points! He essentially has the cadence of the Macho Man Slim Jim commercials.
Yeah, it's a real... Yeah, boy!
Yeah. Chips! Yeah! Gotta have flavor! Gotta have protein! And he throws it in reverse, runs this kid over... Again, not with a bump, not with a visual approximation. They show his fucking head explode. Not only that, then the girls fucking get out with their Polaroids, and we spend a shocking amount of time looking at the remnant mush of this kid's head like he's the yellow bastard in Sin City, and take Polaroids. The Polaroids then later she uses to fucking flick the bean in the sauna. This is their foreplay. And it was one of those, I've seen this movie
completely
10, 15 times when I was a kid, 20 times. I used to show it to all my friends like, this is cool as hell. Somehow I always forget this and the dog. Like how I forget those.
Oh my God. I completely forgot about the dog.
The dog I had no recollection of, which is insane. I have seen this movie so many times, and it tells me that there's a part of my brain that says, this is not worth the brain cells. Yeah. My brain is legitimately just saying, buddy.
Your brain is trying to protect you. You're like, don't do this.
Hey, guy, you got to make better choices. These two are not allowed entry, right? I see the look on their face. They're here for no good. But again, that's what this movie does. It never fucking backs off. Do we need the cop to be a Nazi? Do we need them fucking maiming and murdering a kid and dancing around his exploded body? when they go to that Mexican restaurant, it's another one of those moments, right? They break in. They're like a gang. They've kind of got like a Warriors vibe. They got like paint and shit. They got funny names.
The one guy's dressed like Zardos.
He sticks his fucking gun. He sees a baby and he's like, "Hey, you want your baby dead?" And they put the gun like right in the front of the camera and like aim it at the mom and baby who are crying. They start forcibly kissing a bunch of women. He goes over, he's like, "Hey, this one's blind. I always wanted to cornhole me a blind woman." And they're like, "What? What is happening?" So as he's talking about assault, this woman's fucking seeing eye dog is just doing the, "Hey, chill. Don't do that. I'm a dog. I'll defend my master." Not only do we watch Leroy dispatch the dog, we see him slide across the floor, where you just imagine they're like, "Action!" and some fucking guys slid that dog across the floor. Not only that, we cut back twice to the dog laying there with massive entrail-filled wounds on the side of his body. And I was like, these are just choices that most movies don't go there. How does the Toxic Avenger maintain this living cartoon that we all just kind of give it the pass for all of the things that would normally have an audience fleeing the theater at a movie? It is some kind of magic that has now become Troma's entire fucking brand.
Yeah. I think that we're willing to tolerate like that cartoonish level of violence. But I think, again, you and I both blocking these like critically horrifying things out. Like that, like the kid getting blown up, the dog getting shot. I think it's the Toxic
Crusaders, dude. Our brain is rewriting it to fit the Toxic Crusaders.
I was just going to say, I really do believe this is the seduction of the innocent thing. Our brains indoctrinated us to be like, "Oh, Toxie's a good guy, though." So it's totally cool that he literally like deep fries a guy's hands, fucks up an entire Mexican restaurant. Like,
I will say that milkshake shit was awesome.
Oh yeah, the milkshake stuff. I was like, that is all right. That's the first time I've ever seen waterboarding on television. But all right, that's whatever. It's all good.
Dairy waterboarding, and then we're just gonna stir him up. Because like, I don't think that thing's that strong. I think essentially he's just getting a fucking tonsillectomy or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're basically just drilling his teeth. It doesn't kill the guy. But like all these things.
Oh, and then just for good measure, he picks up the guy he ripped his arm off stick and puts him in the pizza oven.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the pizza oven. Not only that. This is actually for me. This is the greatest example of like everything. We're never gonna stop. Is when the cops are investigating the crime at the restaurant, they're all eating tacos, and you're like, guys.
And then there's the fat, traumatized employee who has the half shirt, who's like eating lettuce and cheese out of his belly button. Dude, I'm telling you, this movie has the mindset of a 12-year-old boy who's at the first day of like 6th grade. And he's like, "Now's my time to shine, motherfucker."
Doesn't it just feel
jokes.
like Lloyd? I do feel like Lloyd Kaufman on set was like, "Try it," and then they shot. And he's like, "All right, let's move on." Cut and print. And you're like, "What?"
Well, again, I think him is like the Stan Lee of trash films.
Yeah,
like he so has a sense of that audience, which is great because we interviewed on the show, right, for Filmmaker Friday, Ricky Glore, who just made Sweetmeats, which is a new Troma film, and he talked about how Lloyd Kaufman is exactly who you think he is. Like when you meet him, he is exactly who you think he is. That Ricky and him will, like, he'll call Ricky or Ricky will call him and he says he answers the phone the same way every time. "Hello, Lloyd Kaufman, President, CEO of Troma Entertainment." Like, he's just that guy all the fucking time. Like, Troma really is, to me, the DNA of whatever's happening in his mind. And he's just the guy who, like, loved drive time radio shows with like sound effect buttons. He's the guy who like, why is the whoopee cushion? Like, why was that a cottage industry? Like, there is a strain of such fucking infantile human being that it works, but Lloyd somehow makes it magical. Right? Like when my mom puts a whoopee cushion on my chair, I'm like, come on, it's Easter. What are we doing? What's happening? When Lloyd Kaufman does it, you're like, there's magic here. And I don't know what that is. It's something science can't quantify.
It's the whole of the movie is just unquantifiable science.
Wait, hold on a sec. Does this movie have even one fart joke in it? Because if it doesn't, that might be the longest Vegas odds of all time.
Ooh.
Over under half a fart joke in Toxic Avenger would have been like you got to bet $1 million to win $1. I don't think there is one.
There's enough shots of Toxie like bending over and stuff that
how are there not cartoon farts and clout? We get toxic pee.
Point.
We get toxic pee. When again a guy just hops out of a limo, he's like $12 for 12 years old, and you're like, what?
Whoa.
And he just fights these guys. But again, I don't think there's the mayor. He's the largest, sweatiest man I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a single fart joke. Okay, audience, if you're hearing this, let us know how many fart jokes were in the Toxic Avenger. If it's 0, that is the most shocking piece of evidence I will ever have heard.
Wouldn't it be kind of funny if, like, maybe in the edit they were doing that and they put a fart joke in and Lloyd Kaufman's like, that's beneath us. We shouldn't do that.
He's like, pedestrian. Banal. We're really taking the teeth out of the satire here.
I'll be honest with you. I just watched Breathless. I'm not feeling this. This is...
Like, am I mistaken when Toxie is humping the shit out of the hot blind lady and he's still wearing his leotard and we're just watching his butt cheeks? There has to be fart sounds.
I don't think there are. Not to my knowledge.
I'm telling you, I don't think there's a fart joke in this movie, which is insane.
Wow. There's
the
no
only
fart
bathroom joke is the pee.
Yeah, I mean that's it. Toxic pee. There's no fart joke. There's a blind woman who apparently is also Helen Keller because she feels his face and goes, "You're beautiful." And I'm like, that's just like.
Well, yeah, they do though. Like she's searching his hands and she's like, "Let me see your other hand." And she just grabs his dick and I was like, "Hey, lady, you know that hands aren't right below the belly button, right? Like I know you're blind." What?
You seem to not understand anatomy for a like.
I think she's using it to get fresh. I think she's hiding behind it.
Again, the movie. This is why.
Well, there's also this thing. Once they start dating, like the rest of the movie, she is just the outfits they choose for her,
dude,
are wild. Like 1990s era wrestling manager outfits. And I remember I asked Amy, I was like, "Are they telling us that Toxie's picking the clothes now?" He's like, "Nah, if you're going to be walking on my elbow, we got to have you dressed like a Pocahontas who's about to take the pole." Like, what is happening? Like, now, welcome to the stage.
You either dress like an 80s car stripper or we are done. Like,
I was like, what? I was like, they're going camping. There's not a beach in sight. I was like, why is she in like the Miss America bikini section?
It's
wild.
It's one of those things where the movie exists in this vacuum of like there's no other movie like it. I think this is like that might be what it is. Besides the Toxic Avengers theory, which I think we're correct.
It's the kind of movie I think a lot of filmmakers
no other movies
would feel embarrassed to make.
You're right.
That it's beneath them. It's kind of like this movie, like some Troma movies, and then the guys that started Scary Movie, Meet the Spartan. Because Airplane's like the elevated version of this, where like the joke writing is so fucking good. It's so above all of its like Airplane to me is one of the best written comedies ever. But I think like Toxic Avenger, people looked at it and they're like, that's just beneath me. Like, what the fuck is this, right? And then I think those other movies too, where it's like, this is so stupid and spoof and parody. I think there is something to it, like everything, like, right? The scientist who comes in has a funny voice. He has so much snot, he wipes it on his sleeve, right? Even though he's like a fucking scientist. Toxie goes into a dry cleaner and just kills a woman who's a little person, right? And we think he killed an innocent. No, she's a white slaver. What? The police chief's always doing random Nazi salutes like he's Elon Musk. And it's like, they never miss a beat. No. Every single beat has to have some kind of questionable or wild choice in it.
It's just like, it's
commitment
just,
to
like,
bit, dude.
I commit to the bit, like that concept of like the three. There's like the 3 rules of like the Troma entertainment like movies, which is safety to humans, safety to property, neither of which are necessarily observed properly in the Toxic Avenger. But then the third thing is make a good movie, but it's in smaller print than the other two. Yeah. I'm like, here's the thing. that philosophy is what most movie studios should follow, which is, everyone should be safe. Everyone should be enjoying themselves, though. Like, this is like a thing is like, I think, like it's a business. Like, we all work in this business. Like, we have jobs in this business. That's part of it. I think the other part, though, is, and I've dealt with this a lot in the last couple of weeks, you forget why, like, I think because we start working, we always forget sometimes, like, why we all started doing this in the first place. And it's like, you like making movies. You like movies. You like things that entertain you. You like entertainment. Mm-hmm. It has to be entertaining first. Like, yes. And to do that, you have to be surrounded by people you enjoy making things with. And I think that's sort of this like critical thing that I think Troma does probably better than anybody. And even though, yes, the Toxic Avenger isn't some highbrow art or anything like that, it doesn't matter because everyone seemed to enjoy making it, other than the people who quit or got fired.
You can tell that they're having fun with it. And again, I think that's the most important thing in films to me. I don't want to see people acting or choices that feel like it's a paycheck thing.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a job. Everyone's in it for the money. I get it. I don't think that's like an assault on the art, right? Is that people want to make money doing it, right? So they can do more of it. Film takes up a lot of time. Miss me with the whole, like, it should be only about art and not commerce. That's what stupid people say. That's what people who don't work in the business say. But you can tell people enjoyed this. That Lloyd Kaufman and the other director, what's his name? Fucking Michael
Herz.
Right? They were expressing to this cast and crew, hey, we are making a live-action, naughty cartoon. A Fritz the Cat cartoon. Like, whatever. And they fucking got the assignment. They went for it, and they were having a blast with it. And at the end, when they're going to kill Toxie with tanks in the National Guard, and they're just like, we can't. We like him more than you. And he brutally murders the fucking mayor by punching his guts out.
Take out this toxic waste.
Yeah, and he kills the mayor by pulling his guts out. And everyone's like, a toxically made mutated monster has just destroyed a democratically elected public official in cold blood.
And everyone
the National Guard cheer, the French cheer, the people he's helped cheer. His mom comes back and stands between him and bullets. And we just as an audience are like, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, all right, cool. It's fine.
We know the fat guy was a criminal. The citizenry doesn't.
we've been conditioned the entire movie. I mean, again, he laundried a little person. And, then she ended up being a human trafficker.
White slaver? That's fine.
All right.
Yeah. All right. It's just one of those movies that, because when it ended, my wife was just like, oh, Alex is hating every second of this. So I was like, you know what? I actually don't know. There's something about a Troma movie that's just so defiant. That's how I think of Troma, right? Because we talk to a lot of people that work on them. We're circling people that are in Troma movies to be in our and it's this just fucking pure defiance of we're not trying to make Toxic Avenger and then take that windfall and make an Oscar content. We know what entertains us. We have built an audience that appreciates being seen by us, right? And we're just in this symbiotic thing. And if this is as big as it gets, great.
I think that's
James Gunn came out of there. Trey Parker and Matt Stone had a fucking cannibal with them.
There's a ton of people who have worked at J.J. Abrams. There's a ton of
He kind of is this.
J.J. Abrams scored Night Beast at 16 years old.
That's what I'm saying. He's like this in between Corman like figure, right?
Absolutely.
Like kind of a more fun Roger Corman. And I think there's something about just that defiance of we are exactly who. And I think, honestly, I know a lot of people would balk at calling Troma art on any level. I think it is the art of appreciating what you can bring to the table. There's no reason to have new movies, new directors, new voices. We have so many fucking movies and TV shows. We could watch them consecutively and not make them till the time we're dead. What we're always looking for, though, is not what looks the best, what's got the best fight scene. Authenticity is the thing that is so often missing and devoid.
I think
Troma
that's the key.
Always has an authentic voice, and it's Lloyd's voice.
That's the key component of the whole thing. This is why, it's hard, no, do I think the Toxic Avenger is my favorite movie I watched this year? No. But it doesn't matter because I turned the movie on and immediately knew what I was getting myself into. I think that's the key component, what you were talking about with authenticity, is if you turn on a movie and it's trying to do something that it's never going to be able to do, That's the inauthentic thing. Like, that's the thing that you're just like, oh, come on. Like, just get to the point. At no point during the Toxic Avenger did I think they were trying to do anything other than make the movie The Toxic Avenger. And it was great. That's it.
Yeah, and that's why, like, we all have, like, the little cousin, or, you know, you take your kid to a soccer game and they got that one kid on their team who's like an asshole and talks shit, and you're just like, oh, wow, what a little bastard, right? I'm in an elementary school. I see these kids all the time.
Sure.
Those kids still make you laugh. Right? They still talk shit, and you're like,
they're still funny.
You're like,
shit.
Don't laugh. Like, they're breaking the rules, but like, it's fucking funny. Dude. That's what Troma is, right? Like, it's childish sense of humor for, you know, I wouldn't even say childish adult audiences, for audiences that don't fucking want to be talked to or preached to or learn something. They just want to fucking laugh and see some titties.
The authenticity.
What is wrong with that?
Authenticity is the best way to put it. I think you hit the nail on the head, man. Like that. Like, like for me. Okay, yesterday I woke my kid up to go to school. Like, he was wrestling. I woke him up. Hey, buddy, it's time to get up. And I gave him a big hug. And he was like, oh, okay. Morning, Daddy. I'm like, hey. And then he just like waited. He waited like the perfect comic beat. And then he looked at me and goes, I just farted. And I'm like, there it is.
And it's great like, every time. My kid is like a fart magician now.
I think it's hilarious. It doesn't change that. I'm like, I know that's what I'm getting offered in the world. And that's okay. That's what you should be expecting out of not just your 6-year-old, but also
that joke and that laugh I shared with you is the reason I'm not going to strangle one of my coworkers today. I need that. And, Life's getting annoying and hard.
And that's what the Toxic Avenger is the Toxic Avenger is like, hey, are you having a hard time? Actually turn your brain off and just enjoy this.
Do you want to see some lady salmon get smoked on sauna rocks? Do you want to see fucking titties? Do you want to see cool murders and action set pieces? A guy's head smashed by a leg curl machine? You're like, these all seem like things I like. I don't know why they're in the same dish. Why is there so much karate in this movie? Don't care. Enjoyed it. Loved it, right?
You know that stupid video of like Matthew McConaughey describing his tuna fish salad?
Yeah.
If you like just making a bowl of stuff, Toxic Avengers for you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Before we get out of here, I think the Toxic Avenger deserves more than a messed up moment. I think we should each do a top 3 most messed up moments in Toxic Avenger.
Okay.
So what's your top 3?
My top 3 are, I mean, these are kind of easy, but the top 3 for me are definitely the kid getting exploded by the car.
Number 1 or number 3?
That's number 1. I think I'm going to go.
And not only the explosion, because I would pick the same one, them taking Polaroids as they slowly circle him like hyenas.
The whole sequence is just
insane.
It's hard for me to pick. It's hard for me to rank things.
Oh, not only that, but then it leads to a nice little bean flick sesh. So there's a lot of extrapolation. All right, number 2.
Number 2 is the entirety of the Mexican restaurant scene. Like, that whole thing is just like.
Let's just put a finer point on it. The dog.
The dog getting blown away is not
kill
great.
Dogs.
Killing dogs isn't cool.
Okay, so this is something. Toxic Avengers from '84. This is something so many horror movies are doing now. Like, if you go on Shudder, it feels like half of the new release movies, like, just kill a dog. Stop that. Yeah. Don't kill dogs. Number 2. Oh, and they casually mention a possible assault in that scene. Not great.
I think number 3 is just because I was just like, where is this going? Was the human trafficker getting put in the laundry. I'm like,
yes, the pint-sized human trafficker that he just puts in the laundry and then takes out and presses. Wow. And again, because we're led to believe this is just an innocent lady who's coming to get her son's cum-stained jeans cleaned. And we're like, what a nice mom. And then we're like, oh, no, Toxie, no. But he is compelled to destroy evil. She's a white slaver. She's out. If I had to pick number 3, this might be kind of a small, inconsequential thing. There's a scene when he helps a lady open her Orville Redenbacher popcorn.
Oh, my God.
Right? Where he opens it for her, right? When he hands it back, he's producing so much radiation heat that he's popped the popcorn, right? When the lady, his blind girlfriend, the first time she grabs him by the hog, he starts literally creating steam as if he's Godzilla stomping through a fucking Boston Red Sox stadium. We see him grab and hold so many kids and babies in this.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a ton of mutated and or dead people in this town soon, and they're going to turn on him.
It's like the sequel to Chernobyl. You're like, oh, actually, Tromaville is the sequel to Chernobyl. Like, I got
what
it.
Toxie was actually doing was killing evil humans and creating a shitload of more mutated monsters. Like, what does it mean to sit on Toxie's little Avenger for that lady's chocha? Right? She's getting turned.
She's getting turned.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It's a weird movie. It's a fun movie. It's Toxie's trying to kill Bozo, and like they're driving through a playground. My kids are just like, guess he's not such a good guy.
I thought
and
the
I
same
was like,
thing.
I guess that's the perfect summary of this movie.
That's the movie.
He's not a hero. It's not comedic greatness. It's just kind of a perfect blend of what the fuck.
Pure nonsense, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's poppycock of the highest order. And sometimes that's what I fucking want. And sometimes you're a kid who grew up on the Toxic Crusaders, which still rips.
I feel a little misled, but that's okay.
Still fucking fun. Still fun.
Still
All
great.
these years later, I rewatched them in honor of this. Still fun. That's it for Toxic Avenger. That's it for May. Next month is the month of my birth. Toxic Avenger came out the same year I was born, ironically. My fellow misfits, Alex, John, Sam, Heath, will be giving me movie gifts. Some interesting choices. So stay tuned for that.
The one I gave you, I'm very excited about. So
you will hear a lot of me and Alex just screaming, what the fuck is this movie?
That entire episode is, what is happening here?
Yeah, there's a lot of just like indignant rage you can feel from us. Like, why did all of our moms let this happen? Savor on that. Go to Messed Up Movies Podcast Patreon for extra exclusive episodes you can vote on. Miniseries, we're always asking our patrons for ideas on new miniseries. We work really hard to make that awesome for you. Please join us over there. Subscribe to the Misfit Parade YouTube. Find us on all the socials. 5-star ratings and reviews. MisfitParade.com to sign up for our newsletter so you can keep track of Mr. Cream Jeans. Howdy ho.